Paviot. So, Benedicte, tell us more about what the Intelligence and Security Committee has been saying, pretty damning for the government and British intelligence.
Yes, so this is the long-awaited report, delayed and delayed and delayed. It's now published. And if you had to retain one single message from it, is that Russia sees the United Kingdom as one of its top targets in the West. It does it in a number of ways: cyber hacking, cyber activity. It, according to this report that was compiled, of course, over now 18 months ago, it interfered with the Scottish referendum. You'll remember the Scottish referendum, in which, in fact, the Scottish people decided not to vote for their independence. So that Scotland clearly still makes up one of the four nations that makes up the UK. It also interfered in the 2017 general election. And when you know that second fact, you particularly know and understand the frustration, sometimes the anger of members of this Intelligence and Security Committee, indeed other MPs and other people throughout the United Kingdom. In fact, one could say that the public certainly had a right to know before they went to the polls in December of last year that there had been this kind of attempt at interference. This is, of course, categorically denied by Russia itself, even again moments ago. But the report also says and calls very importantly for immediate action to help the intelligence services tackle what they call this very capable adversary. Because one of the fundamental problems is what the report says is that there have been, if not willful, it almost amounts to a negligence. There isn't a unifying body that collects this evidence, this data, and therefore this means that this is an important national security threat that really needs to be addressed. And both in the report and also then just moments ago, one of the top members of this committee personally criticised the Prime Minister and also previous governments for not publishing this report, and said that the delay was simply unacceptable and there was absolutely no justification for it.
Benedicte, tell us more about what held up the report's release and the speculation that delay caused.
Well, what held it up is basically, you'll remember, we had a rather eventful year last year. We had, in fact, a change of Prime Minister from Theresa May to Boris Johnson. We had a leadership election, therefore, for her successor. We then had, it's almost a year to the day that Boris Johnson became Prime Minister, and we've had a general election. So one of the things that held it up also last year is the fact that as soon as that starting gun was given to the general election, something that Boris Johnson had made clear from the moment that he was Prime Minister last end of July he wanted, that meant that there was a further delay. And of course what I haven't mentioned is Brexit. Very much that whole spectre of Brexit and the various deadlines that came and went, the fact that we were told we wouldn't have European elections categorically by the then Prime Minister Theresa May, and we did. But all these were excuses, says the report, and say the committee members. So I'm happy to say that we'll be speaking to the man who headed this report, Dominic Grieve, a former Conservative MP, and he actually was the head of this Intelligence and Security Committee, and we will shortly be interviewing him, and I think you'll find he has quite a lot of things to say about this report and the action that needs to be taken. This is a national security threat that needs to be addressed. There have also been murders on British soil repeatedly of Russians. There's also all kinds of allegations about Russian money absolutely swamping the city, and Russian oligarchs, and the fact that a blind eye is regularly turned towards this. These are serious accusations. In a sense, the Prime Minister has possibly just got 24 hours to go, because tomorrow afternoon Parliament will be in recess, so MPs will be on holiday. But it will be very interesting to see Prime Minister's questions tomorrow, where I am sure, both from his own party and the opposition, there will be very many questions that will be asked of this Prime Minister, Boris Johnson.
Thank you, Benedicte.